That's why I won't be celebrating Thanksgiving this year or any year.
You're listening to Fun with Horror with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
No, you start. I start?
Yeah. Don't you say, hi, I'm Scotty, then I go, I'm Andrew, and
Yeah,
you say,
yeah,
welcome to episode...
yeah.
All right.
So confused.
Sorry, buddy.
Hi, I'm Scotty.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome to episode number 113 of Fun with Horror, the movie review podcast in which two long-distance best friends take turns keeping in touch by taking turns giving each other horror movies to watch and discuss.
Love it. And last episode, I got to pick a movie. I chose a pretty new one, 2023's Thanksgiving, but we'll talk more about that soon. Until then, remember, stick around to the end because we're going to hear what Scotty picks for our next movie. Until then, hi, buddy.
Hey, I'm Rusty.
It's all good. I'm Andrew. It's nice to meet you.
I'm a rusty trombone. I forget what that is. Is that something bad?
Maybe. I know a rusty fishhook is gross, but...
Ooh, what is that? Are we allowed to say on the podcast?
I mean, it's if you have some doo-doo on your finger and you make it into a fishhook and put it in someone's mouth. Fish. Yeah, it's gross. It's gross.
Okay, so a rusty trombone, we're starting off good.
Yeah, we are.
Is a sexual act in which a man stands with his knees and back slightly torqued, with feet at least shoulder width apart to expose his anus. That's a rusty trombone there, pal. Now I know.
This is not how I was expecting this episode to start.
Well, there you go.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow. Welcome to Fun with Horror, everybody.
Yeah, the Urban Dictionary edition.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh,
how's everything, buddy? How are you?
It's good. I'm good. I'm busy and tired, but excited to be here to do this with you.
Yeah.
So, hooray.
You've been working at your new place of business.
I have. Yep.
And is it busy?
Yeah, it is. It's just a lot of training, a lot of new stuff. So,
have you had time to watch anything, like even non-horror?
Yeah, actually, we just. I mean, it's non-horror, but we did the first two Hunger Games movies recently. Yeah, and so fun. I enjoy those movies a lot, and we haven't seen the new one, so we wanted to prep up for it for the new one. We can watch that, but.
I mean, it's got horror aspects, right? Kids killing each other.
For sure, yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel like it's definitely based on some horror as well, like, Lord of the Flies or oh man, what's that movie? It's gonna bug
Battle
me.
Royale.
Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh. Wow, that totally was not coming to me. Yes, like Battle Royale, which are definitely, I would say, on the horror side of things.
Yeah.
But
now, would you say that there's a rusty trombone in either of those movies?
I don't remember any of those scenes. But we didn't watch the director's cut, so I don't know.
The director's cut. Oh boy.
What about you, man? How are you?
No,
what's going on?
I haven't been watching anything. Well, no. I did. Here's something.
Okay.
People make fun of me because I enjoy so many things that I watch.
Right.
But I finished watching something last night that
Okay.
I did not enjoy at all.
Oh, are you going to say on the podcast what it was?
Yeah, I'm going to say it.
Okay. All right. What?
The Monarch TV series, Legacy of Monsters, the Godzilla show on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. Wow.
Man, I don't usually pick things apart, but I couldn't get over the writing in that show. It was so bad.
Oh, no.
In my opinion.
Right.
And people are enjoying this. And what gets me is that people say And it was so good, all the monster scenes. And I'm like, what monster scenes? There was barely any.
Really?
Like, it almost seemed like they threw in monster scenes sometimes just so that they could have a monster in the show.
Weird. Wow.
I will say that the few scenes with Godzilla were incredible.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But there were so many, every single episode, there was a part where I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? That's so stupid. Like, no person would do this. This is so stupid.
That sucks.
So, I
And
hate
this
to
is
bag
in-
on something.
Right. This is in the universe, though, with, like, Tom Hiddleston, like, Kong, like that Kong
Yes.
and Godzilla universe, right? Okay.
Yeah. They call it the Monsterverse.
Oh, okay. Weird. Bummer. That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for you to watch it and tell me if you think it's as dumb as I thought it was.
Okay.
But on good news,
Yes.
one thing we forgot to talk about last week because I didn't see it. But we have a new review on Apple Podcasts. Somebody left us a
Oh.
nice review.
What? I didn't know that either.
Yeah. It's
Awesome.
it's a person named Stanley,
Mm.
but
Aw.
the review says, I tend to only listen to horror podcasts, and the ones I listen to, I like them to have good chemistry between the hosts. Check. Decent knowledge about the movies they're reviewing. Check. And a good time talking about them. Triple check. If you ask me, that isn't a lot to ask for, and Scotty and Andrew provide all that and more. I particularly enjoy the friendship aspect, too. They're long-distance pals. When they get the chance to talk movies and catch up with each other, it's really endearing. But I also enjoy the movie reviews, and while their opinions might differ from time to time, it's what keeps the show entertaining and fresh. And what is also great is that the movie selection varies from new to old. So you might get Hereditary one week, and then one week you might get Dolls. Give them a listen, y'all.
Aw, Stanley, you're the best. Mwah. I know you
Mwah.
can't see that, but blowing kisses to you. Thank you.
Ah, yes. It's
That's
just you
so
and me blowing kisses to each other now.
Hey,
It's great.
I mean,
love it.
that's usually how our podcast goes, though, so.
But yeah, thank you, Stanley, for that beautiful, beautiful review. And
Thank you.
if anybody else wants to leave us a review, it's nice to get one after so long. But reviews, ratings on Apple Podcasts or even Spotify, they really help us, and they help get the show out there to even more people than listen to us now, which is
Yeah.
quite a few, which we love.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome, man. It's the best.
I mean, I think, what are we, the number 60 podcast in Peru? Something like that.
Wow. Hey, if that's not carved on my gravestone.
Did you say carved?
I'm making my grandmother's stuffing. Her secret ingredient was a touch of eggplant. I only hope I can make it half as good as hers, though.
Oh, I'm sure you'll make an excellent dinner, Kathleen. Hey, Jessica.
So, everybody, again, the movie this week is 2023's Thanksgiving, which was directed by Eli Roth and written by Eli Roth and Jeff Rendell. We have Patrick Dempsey starring in it with Gina Gershon and, of course, Nell Verlaque. I hope I'm saying that right, and if I'm not, I apologize.
You are.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah. Nell
Oh, look
Verlaque.
at that. And, yeah, that's what I want to say right now. What am I
And of course,
forgetting?
before we get into it, no, that's it. You got it.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
You'll get the hang of this podcasting thing soon.
I'm trying, man. It's only taken 100 and some odd episodes. 13.
Before we get into our discussion, this is your warning that if you have not seen Thanksgiving, directed by Eli Roth, we are about to spoil the entire movie. So this is your warning. Do not listen any further, because one of us is about to do a 3-minute recap.
Ooh, there's some
Yeah,
reverb on that.
maybe.
Recap, yeah.
So I am, like I did last time, Andrew, I am going to roll a 20-sided virtual die.
Woo!
So I want you to pick right now, odd or even.
I'm going to go odd again. I think I did odd last time, too.
Okay, if it's odd, you're doing the recap. If it's even, I will do it.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Roll, roll, roll. It is a number 3. You're doing it again.
Dang it. All right. You know what's going to happen is next time I'm going to do an even to mix things up, and it's going to be
It'll be even.
So
we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well,
And if at any time you want to just go back to the way we used to do it, then you just tell me.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah. After you've done like 5 of them in a row, you'll be like, okay, I think we should go back. It's your turn.
Yeah. I'm done with this.
But for now, everybody that I have talked to loves to hear you do the 3-minute recap. They say that you're the best at this.
That's not true, but thank you.
No, I'm serious.
No, that's not true even a little bit, but you're sweet for trying.
I talked to Nell Verlaque herself, and she said Andrew does the best 3-minute recaps, and I can't wait for him to recap my part in this movie.
Well, then I'm disappointed in Nell Verlaque because she told me that you're the best at the 3-minute recap. So I need to call her later and figure things out.
That Nell Verlaque is a dirty liar.
Part of me is like hoping that she's listening to this episode going like, I don't even know these guys.
Yeah.
What?
Who? I don't care who does the 3-minute recap. Anyway.
All right,
you start whenever you want, buddy. Just make sure you come under 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll try.
Oh, come on.
Right.
Rusty trombone.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Lord. Okay, all right.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
So the movie begins. We have Officer Newland goes over to his friend Amanda and Mitch's house for Thanksgiving dinner. Mitch works at a big superstore there that's having their Black Friday on Thanksgiving, and so he gets called to go. We see that this Black Friday is insane. It's like the entire town, which is Plymouth, is there at this Black Friday deal at this one big store. The daughter, Jessica, who is the daughter of the owner of the store, she and her friends sneak in and kind of making fun of the people in the crowd. Anyway, the crowd goes crazy, busts through the store. It kills one security guard. One of our main characters gets an arm broken. And then Amanda, from the beginning, at the beginning dinner, she was there to give her husband some dinner. She gets trampled and then killed, which of course makes the husband and Officer Newland very mad. We then cut to a year later. Jessica and her friends start receiving some ominous text messages or Instagram messages, I don't know, basically showing this picture of like a Thanksgiving dinner, and they realize someone is not happy with them. We also begin to see that people, everything that happened was kind of in some viral videos by one of the kids that snuck in with Jessica. So we start to see that people in that video, people that were there and maybe caused some harm, are starting to get killed off one by one by this masked killer. We have a new masked killer I forget which pilgrim he's dressed as, but I'm sure we'll talk about it in a little bit. I totally am drawing a blank because anyway, everyone starts getting killed off. Towards the end, though, Jessica, her friends, some other family all get essentially kidnapped and brought to that infamous Thanksgiving table where the killer is there and is going to kill them. They, of course, escape. Jessica escapes. Eventually, she is with Officer Newland, who's saying, hey, we're going to get this bad guy, blah, blah, blah. It turns out, though, Officer Newland is actually the killer. And the reason he's killing everyone is because he and Amanda at the beginning were having an affair, and she was pregnant with his baby, and she died. So he's now getting revenge on all the people that were at this massacre. Eventually, Jessica and her friends fight him off, and he gets blown up, or so we think, in this big explosion, but they cannot find the body, and it ends with Jessica, having a nightmare about him coming back to life or coming after her, and that's how the movie ends. Gosh, there you go.
Wow. You came in just under 2 minutes. You didn't even go 3 minutes, man.
Oi.
Wow.
I was like, man, I was drawing a blank. I did not. Part of me was like, you know what? I did it last time. It's going to be Scotty today. And it wasn't Scotty. That was my fault. Foolish.
I didn't even think about it at all, so I would have been just as lost. But at least I would have remembered that the killer's name is John Carver.
Thank you. Good Lord.
We even made a carving pun.
I know. I really dropped the pumpkin pie on that one.
Yeah, that makes no sense. But hey.
I don't know, man. If you want to find a new host, I get it.
I have Nell Verlaque on the phone right now, and she's ready to take over. That would be awesome.
That would be cool. Wait, it'd be awesome if she replaced me. Wow.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Because she's famous.
Ouch.
She was no, she wasn't the star of He's All That. That was the other
Amanda
actress
Bynes?
in the. No, He's All That.
Oh,
Not
He's All
She's
That.
All That. He's All That starred. Why do they have all the actors out of Addison Rae? Thank you. Freaking IMDb. It's like sometimes they do in order of
I know.
billing, and then sometimes it's in order of appearance. Who knows, man?
Yeah. This one was all sorts of topsy-turvy on this one, so.
Andrew, this was your movie.
It was. I picked it.
What did you think of Thanksgiving?
Dude, it's been a while since I've seen kind of a new slasher, and I was very happy with this. It was a lot of fun. Had some really fun kills, which I know we'll talk about. And this was one where I was not 100% sure who it was at the end. I had ideas, but I don't know if I was 100% sure. And then, yeah, we'll talk more. But what did you think?
We'll
man?
talk more.
Yeah, we'll talk more.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was one of the best slashers since Terrifier, you know.
Nice.
I mean, Terrifier's only a couple years old, but yeah, I thought it was a welcome addition to the slasher genre. I thought it was extremely well done. Mm-hmm. It was perfectly Eli Roth over the top.
Yes.
Which I loved. You know, he's got that nice balance between scares and just going right over the line with certain things. And and I will say, you know, I didn't totally guess who it was, although I kind of did at the same time.
Yeah. It's hard to explain.
Let's talk about that first because, you know, this is a slasher in the vein of Scream.
Right.
In which they leave the killer as a mystery. Who is it?
Right.
Instead of just showing you who the killer is and just being scared of that killer.
Right.
So tell me your journey through this movie trying to figure out who it was.
Well, so obviously they give you just like Scream, just like any movie like this where you don't know who the killer is. Of course, there's red herrings. So those were going through, but I was like, it's too obvious. Like all these people, and it's too obvious. It seems like, but by the end, I was kind of like, well, that's a lot of too obvious for me to justify that I know who it is. Really, the biggest, and I can't remember when I realized it was him. I did realize at some point, but for most of it, I actually thought, and I'm going to say the actress's name, but I thought it was. I thought, yes. So I actually thought it was going to be Karen Cleesh.
Oh.
Who's kind of the store manager's wife. Yeah. And so I thought.
Store owner.
Store owner. Excuse me. Store owner. I thought she was going to be it, but she had a pretty gruesome death, so it was not her. Yeah. So I can't remember when I realized it was him, but it did hit. And then, of course, like right before he and Jessica are talking and you see that they're alone together, you're like, well, obviously it's him, you know. It's that scene where we have the one person with her. But I can't remember when. What about you? What was your journey?
I got to say the reveal to me was slightly disappointing because I actually thought of Newland early in the movie because my first two thoughts were Mitch because he's an obvious choice because it's his wife that got killed. But see, the moment, God, I got to talk about this whole journey of my thought process here because, so at the very beginning of the movie, when Newland comes over to the house, when he's talking to Gina Gershon, I thought that they were going to get together during the movie. I could tell there was some chemistry.
Right. Yep.
So I was surprised when she died, actually. I was like, wow, they killed her off really early. That's amazing.
Right. And it's Gina Gershon, so I agree. Yeah.
So then Mitch to me was the obvious choice, but then after that, I was like, he's too obvious. It's not going to be Mitch. I was like, would it be Newland? Would it be like this guy? Because he's like the least obvious choice, which is to me a fault of the movie is that they did go with the least obvious choice or the person you wouldn't think it is.
Right.
But I immediately poo-pooed that idea. I was like, no, not Newland. They wouldn't do that.
Right.
And then especially the thing that kind of bothers me still about the movie, I give it 4 out of 5 stars, basically.
Okay.
One of the things that bothers me is when he does have the voice modulator.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how modulators work, but do they get rid of accents? Because he had a Boston accent.
He did. He had
and it was wonderful. He did a great accent. And I don't think a modulator would get rid of the accent completely. It just changes the tone of your voice completely.
That's a good call. Yeah, totally true.
So then, but I realized 100% that he was the killer the moment she came upon him laying on the ground all bloody.
Yes, I think that's when I thought it too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, that came out of nowhere. All of a sudden it's Newland on the ground and we didn't even see what happened to him. He's the killer.
Yep.
And so when they show Bobby in the warehouse taking off the costume, I was like, well, that's another misdirection.
Right. Yep.
And that's the other thing I'm going to say about this movie is that while I did love the movie and I liked it even more on repeat viewings, I thought that there was a little bit too much obvious foreshadowing of some things. Like, for instance, when McCarty is shooting off the blunderbuss in the back of his truck, and all of a sudden Jess is talking about how she learned to load a blunderbuss. I was like, oh, so she's going to shoot a blunderbuss at the end of this movie. Got it. Little things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Absolutely.
But otherwise, I love this movie. I loved everything about it. And even with the predictability, that kind of goes away on repeat viewings because you're like, okay, I know everything now. It doesn't need to be unpredictable anymore. I can just enjoy it for what it is.
Yep. And that's what it is. It's just a fun it's just a fun slasher,
Yeah.
Which is what you want. And we now have one for the month of November, which is fantastic. We have Christmas slashers. We have, obviously, Halloween slashers. Now we get one right in the middle, which is lovely.
We have a Valentine's Day slasher, which, in hindsight, maybe you should have picked that.
Oh, yeah.
My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
But no, we're doing Thanksgiving for Valentine's Day.
I don't care. I do what I want.
Because this episode is coming out the day before Valentine's Day. So.
Yeah. That's, you know what? I keep people on their toes, so they keep coming
on your
back.
Toes? On their toes?
Yeah, of course.
Man, I have so many notes
I have
about
one.
this movie.
I have one nitpick as well, or not nit.
Go for it.
Okay. Now, stranger things have happened. I get that. However, Gina Gershon is 61 years old. How likely is it that she was pregnant?
Oh, but was her character 61 years old?
It's a good question, but I mean, I don't know. But when I saw her, I was like, oh, Gina Gershon. And then when they brought that up, I was like, I don't know about that.
That's a good point, pal.
Yeah. That was my only, I was like, we'll go with it because it's whatever. But
we're going to say that her character was in her 40s.
There we go. All right, let's go with that.
Because
I had to Google it.
Gina looks good.
She does. Yeah, Gina's great. But I had to Google it. I was like, how old is Gina? Yeah. Anyway, that was it.
Well, my nitpicky things will probably come out while we're talking about the movie.
Right.
Because the other nitpicky thing I have is, and this is going to jump all the way to the end of the movie.
Yay.
Obviously, we have Jess at the beginning of the movie. She's with Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
During the Black Friday massacre scene, he gets his wrist broken horribly, which is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that's gross.
And the rest of the movie takes place a year later.
Mm-hmm.
So Bobby has disappeared after the Black Friday thing.
Right.
And now Jess is with this guy, Ryan, who pops in during the Black Friday scene. He wants to be with Jess, but she's with Bobby. But now Bobby's out of the picture, so Ryan has swooped in.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a conflict between Bobby and Ryan throughout the whole movie, which is kind of funny at times.
Right. Yeah.
I will say that he did a great job. Milo Mannheim played Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
did a fantastic job as Ryan, but at the same time, he did such a good job that I almost wanted Ryan to be the killer.
Fair. Yeah.
I knew he was an obvious choice to be the killer.
Yeah.
So I knew it probably wouldn't be him.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I just did not like his character. I thought he was a douchebag. And I honestly, especially on repeat viewings, I hate the fact that Jess ends up with him.
Yeah, I get that.
So, like, that just kind of made no sense to me at the end that she would just, okay, bye, Bobby, and then she wakes up in bed next to him.
Yeah.
Next to Ryan. I was like, I don't like it. He's a douchebag.
Yeah, I get that. I'm with you.
Like, if they had made him a little bit redeemable at some point in the movie.
But they don't. I mean, he helps, but that's it. I mean, he's not much character development. Maybe that's the right.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I can't say that I loved Bobby either. I actually wanted Jess to end up with neither of them.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree, man. Yeah.
But Bobby's the one that helps save her. He's the one that helps get her out of the warehouse.
Right.
You know? Like, why does she just say goodbye to him and end up with Ryan? That makes no sense to me. Makes no sense.
I know. What the heck?
Anyway, let's talk about this Black Friday scene because that was amazing.
It was great. Yeah, I will say, and like you said, I mean, Eli Roth does it well where he does kind of that over-the-top some things, which is fun, which you know going into an Eli Roth movie, if you've seen anything he's done, you'll get it. But it's fun. So even, like, just watching that scene and seeing, like I felt like 100,000 people there. It's not that many, but there was so many. I was like, this is crazy, and I'm all for it. Like, I think this is insane, but I'm like, I know that anarchy is coming, and I cannot wait to see what happens, which was nice. It was a good setup for anyone that knows what's coming. But yeah, that
absolutely.
Scene was great. It was a lot of fun. There was some really good moments, some gross moments.
That's the thing I love about Eli Roth, though, is that you can have these scenes that are slightly unrealistic.
Right.
I mean, I know Black Friday is a crazy day.
Right.
And there's like people running for things in the store and everything. And there's a lot of truth to the people crunching together just because they want to get a free waffle iron.
Right. Totally true. Yep.
But it's slightly unrealistic, the whole line, and just how much of this small town was in one place.
Right. I know. It was like everyone.
And nobody was lined up. I mean, even on crazy Black Friday, you usually have some semblance of a line.
Totally. Yep.
But the fact that it's Eli Roth totally makes me forgive that, and I'm like, I'm ready for this to be nuts.
Yeah, exactly. It's forgiving because of who directed it and who wrote it. So I agree.
Yeah.
I'm like, even watching, I chuckled because I was like, this is insane, but I'm just fine with that. It's okay.
And talking about who wrote this movie, I told you this earlier, but Eli Roth and Jeff Rendell, they both wrote the movie. Jeff Rendell wrote the screenplay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And him and Eli both came up with the story. They have been friends since kindergarten.
That's insane, man. That's insane.
And I recommend anybody listen to the commentary with the two of them talking during the movie because it's so good and interesting listening to them talk about this movie. Also, their journey, they even make a joke at the beginning saying that most of this podcast, most of this commentary will likely be them talking about their experiences growing up together and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
But it wasn't. They talked about the movie enough.
Nice.
There's a couple of things that I would love to ask Eli that I'll get to in a little bit, but there's a couple of references. I can say one right now because it's at the very beginning.
Okay.
When Newland goes up to the door of Mitch and Gina Gershon's character, Amanda, when he goes up to their door to knock on it, there's a hockey stick attached to the door, which made me think of the end of Hostel 2.
Oh,
have you seen Hostel 2?
A long time ago, man. I saw 1 and 2, but
there's kids playing hockey.
Oh yes.
Oh wait,
there we go.
Are they playing hockey, or are they kicking?
No, I think
something?
it's soccer.
Yeah, they're soccer. They're kicking.
Yeah. I
Okay.
remember what they're. Yep, I remember.
Then never mind. That may not have been a reference.
Well, it
The
still
only
might
other-
have, though. Who knows? I mean,
Well, now it makes no sense. Reference to what?
something else he did. I don't know.
Did he do something else with a hockey stick?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, it could be a reference to Halloween H2O.
No, he didn't do that movie.
No, I know, but just as a
No.
slasher homage to a slasher. I don't know, Scotty. I'm trying to help you.
The other reference is we eventually meet a detective named Detective Chu.
Right.
And you may know about this, but there is a comic book series called Chu, and it
I
is
do
about
know.
a detective named Detective Chu.
Yep.
And when he licks or eats a piece of the victim, he can tell what happened to them.
Yep. It's a fun comic. I've only read the first
Yeah.
6 issues, but it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And I wondered if it was his name in the movie was a slight reference to that comic, because it seems like a comic that Eli Roth would enjoy.
Oh, gosh, yeah, totally. Actually, that seems like a movie he would enjoy to make.
Oh, man, that would be great.
That'd be cool. Chew would be a cool movie.
But he did not mention it, so I don't know if it was. It may have
Right.
just been a coinky-dink.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Eli and Jeff grew up obviously watching horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
They actually mentioned something that I related to a little bit about how they tried to go see Silent Night, Deadly Night. And I forget, I think somebody's dad, one of their dads tried to buy tickets for them to go into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the cashier wouldn't let him initially because he wasn't going in with them and they couldn't go in unsupervised
Oh.
because they were like 12 or something.
Oh.
Like the dad put his foot down and he's like, "You're going to let them in. They're going to go see this movie. I'm allowing it." And so
Wow.
but they saw these holiday themed horror movies and always wanted to make their own. And Thanksgiving
That's
was the one they wanted to make.
That's so cool, man. I love that. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about this, but the little, I don't know, you'd call it teaser trailer in the Grindhouse movies of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's a trailer.
Trailer,
It's a trailer.
yeah.
Yeah, fake trailer.
Right. I wonder if, I mean, obviously that had something to do with getting this made, I'm assuming, or...
Well, I mean, the fans always wanted a full Thanksgiving movie after
True.
that trailer.
Yep.
And I will say another quick aside is
Uh-huh.
that trailer actually did something good that I usually hate trailers for doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's the shot in that fake trailer of the cheerleader on the trampoline.
Yes, yep.
I thought they were going to do the same thing, and I was cringing when she was on the trampoline. And so I was happy when, she still got killed on the trampoline. Right. The knife still came up from under, but she didn't do a split onto the knife.
Yeah, which would have been, oh.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, man.
There's so much to talk about, but here's what I want to do.
Lay it on me.
Because normally we would save this to the end of the episode when we ask what our favorite death or kill is, but this movie, I would say, is characterized by its kills.
Oh, 100%. My buddy that saw this, like right when it came out, wrote me and was like, "Have you seen it yet?" I said, "No." He's like, It's got some fun kills. You're gonna like it." I said, "Okay."
Yeah, I think our friend Edward said the same thing on Facebook. He was like, somebody had mentioned going to see this movie, and he was like, "This movie has some really great, memorable kills." And
yeah,
it sure does. So
it sure does.
So let's go through them real quick.
Yeah.
We start with Amanda.
Yeah.
How does she get killed?
Well, she gets kind of trampled at the Black Friday event, and then her hair gets caught in the tire or the wheel. Oh, go ahead.
Well, first she gets slammed in the head by the shopping cart.
Right. Yes, you're right. Yes, it gets hit in the head, and then her hair gets caught on the wheel, to which when it gets pulled back, her hair essentially and part of her scalp rips off with the tire. It's so gross.
This will be fun. This will be fun for me to like throw characters at you, and you can tell me if you can tell me everything that happened to them, including how they died. So,
oh, jeez.
Some of these are a little bit easier. Doug, the security guard, was just trampled to death.
Well, he gets his throat cut.
Nope. Nope. That's Neck Glass Guy
Oh, that's
on IMDb. No, Doug is the security guard that the doors fall on top of him.
Oh.
And they trample over him.
Wasn't that the same guy?
You only watched this movie once, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. But wasn't that the same guy?
No, man. So Doug is a security guard. Then there's a random guy who's just coming into the store, and as he gets pushed through the doorway, there's a shard of glass, and it slices into his neck. Yeah. And then hilariously, which cracks me up every time, he still tries to go get a waffle iron. And then some lady, she comes to take it from him. And he's just like, he can't hold it, and he ends up dying. But yeah, I wondered if he had a name, but no, his name is Neck Glass Guy.
Amazing.
And also, I looked him up because he reminded me of that guy that does the fake David Blaine on YouTube.
Gosh.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Looked just like him.
Wow. I forgot about those videos. Wow. Good one, man.
Next, so after Black Friday, we move into the present day or a year later.
Right.
We have Lizzie in the diner.
Yeah.
Do you remember everything that happened to Lizzie?
Okay. So she gets water. He dips her in the sink. Oh, slices her hand first. Is that right?
Yes.
Then dips her in the sink and then pushes her up against the freezer door, the cold part, the inside of the freezer door, to which her face and hand get stuck. And then she rips it off and runs.
Ripping part of her cheek off. Yeah.
Ripping part and hand. Her hand's pretty gnarly too.
Oh, that's true.
And then runs out of the cafe that she works in. Jumps.
Let's not forget the phone, because she goes into another room. And she's trying to call like 911, but she can't. She can't dial because her hand is all bloody, and then the phone can't read her face because she's got her cheek torn off.
So good.
Okay, so then she runs outside, and what happens?
Then she runs out, jumps in, or is halfway through the garbage can to hide as a car. She's like, I can't find my keys or something, and of course, someone's in her car. She jumps halfway in the garbage can, the car hits the garbage, and cuts her in half. And then the bottom half of her is placed on top of the big store from the beginning. Like on top of
the star.
The star. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And next to a 50% off sale sign.
Right. Yes. It's so good.
But then, of course, the top half of her body we later see is set at this dinner table that the killer puts together.
Right.
And that I'll mention that in a second, because after Lizzie, we have Manny, the security guard who ran off.
Yes.
Okay, what happens to Manny?
Well, Manny has a cat, which I was a little nervous about, but then I will say this. Well, I'll get to the kill. But when the killer goes and feeds the kitty, I was like, it's a good guy killer. Good guy killer.
And Eli talked about that in the commentary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said he hates it. He hates when he sees a movie and somebody has a pet, and when they get killed, Eli always wonders, like, who's feeding the cat? Like, the poor cat. And so he made sure to put a moment in there where the killer, like, feeds the cat and then taps it on the head. And
amazing.
I loved it.
I loved it. But he gets stabbed from under the table, I think, in his gut. And then
with what?
Was it a corkscrew?
No,
what was it?
It was an electric turkey carver.
Oh gosh, yeah, you're right. Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. And then he gets decapitated.
Yes, with a garrote or however you pronounce it.
I've never known what that's actually called.
Which was an amazing move, by the way, because the killer basically wraps this razor wire around his neck, and the killer has turned around and is back to back with Manny, and then just like rips his head off with the wire. You got to see it, and it's actually a real military move.
Oh, I didn't know that, but it was a good move. It really was, because it sliced it right off.
Yeah, and then his head is put on a plate at that dinner table.
Yes.
And now I just want to say, like, holy crap, dude. talk about practical effects, because Lizzie's body, upper body, and Lonnie's head in that scene were both fake dummies.
Whoa.
I mean, obviously, Manny's is, because...
Right.
I think I said Lonnie. I may have said Lonnie.
I know what you meant. Yeah.
Okay, but Manny's head is, you see him putting the head down.
Right.
But when you see Lizzie there and you're like, holy crap, that is so realistic. That was such good practical effects.
That's awesome. Yeah, really good. I thought she was sitting there. I thought they just...
It was really her later in the movie.
Okay.
Like when she's there during the big dinner scene, which we'll talk about.
Right. Yeah.
But during that scene where you just see the killer putting Manny's head down and her body's in the other seat, yeah, totally fake.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Well done.
So I accidentally said Lonnie because Lonnie is next. So we got Lonnie and Amy. Lonnie's the guy from the other school.
Yeah, Lonnie.
Amy is the cheerleader. So this one's easy. How does Lonnie die?
Lonnie gets his head turned around, if you will, his neck snapped, but like it's a 180, which is it's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. Well, he's watching though, Amy, excuse me, the cheerleader that you kind of mentioned, jumping on the trampoline. She, of course, the killer's under the trampoline and starts stabbing her as she's jumping. Oh,
but she doesn't die yet. No, you got it.
Oh, okay.
The knife goes into like her foot and then through her, like she just ends up bouncing on the knife.
Oh, you're right. She doesn't die yet. Yes, but she's stabbed lots of times. Yes. That's right. We see her again.
We do see her again. But after that, it takes a little bit to get to another kill.
Mm-hmm.
But the next kill is Yulia.
Oh, yeah.
With the amazing dad.
Yes, I know. I was really expecting him to make more of or fight or something, because he seemed like a tough SOB.
Dude, when he shows up at the school and he's like, Yulia, come.
Shit, it's my dad.
Yulia, come.
Papa, what are you doing?
Get in.
What are you doing, Papa?
To the Mercedes.
What are you doing? Dad, just tell me where we're going.
Florida.
Yeah, so good. I was just like, this is the best guy ever. But he just gets... I did appreciate that, how the killer, especially finding out that it's Newland later, only tranquilizes the security guard and her dad.
Right.
Like he's specifically targeting these people, and he's not gonna allow collateral damage, you know?
Right. Yep. I liked that too. Again, good guy killer.
So let's talk about Julia's death, or Yulia's death.
Yeah. Well, Jessica gets there to stop the killer. They realize he's there.
Before they get there, something happens.
Help me out. Oh gosh, yes. Oh my lord, yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
and for those listening, I just mimed a little thing over our stream.
Yeah, she's getting ready in her room, and then the killer takes those corn on the cob. I don't even know the end things that you put in corn on the cob. I don't know what they're called, and shoves them
corn on
right
the cob
in her
holders.
Ears. Yeah, corn on the cob holders, and just right into her ears. Oh gosh, that's so bad.
So then Jess shows up with...
That's right, because she's like FaceTiming them. And so, yeah, Jess shows up. The killer has her at knife point. Ooh, yeah, Yulia, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to think if they say anything. But yeah, essentially he pushes her onto a bandsaw.
Table saw.
Table saw, and her stomach and chest land on it and just get shredded. Everything comes out. So it's pretty gnarly.
Her guts are falling out, and it's actually a great moment because, supposedly this was improvised, but Scuba, her boyfriend, is holding her, and he's just like, Jess, what do I do? What do I do, Jess? And it's just like a perfect, like, he's just paralyzed, and I mean, he's holding his girlfriend whose guts are just like, her intestines are coming out. So then we have... straight from another one from the Thanksgiving fake trailer, we have Lionel in the turkey costume.
Yes. Which is great. Yeah, in a turkey mascot outfit, gets decapitated.
Yep. But this was amazing.
Yes.
What a great scene, because this is a Thanksgiving parade, And supposedly they are trying to trap the killer.
Right. Yes.
They're trying to bait him, bring him out. Jess and Scuba are on this float, and they're seeing all these different people dressed up as John Carver, like the killer.
Right.
And then there's a guy in a creepy clown costume, which just looks like anybody in one of those generic scary clown masks and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I caught that right away, though. The second we saw him, I was like, oh, that's a creepy clown. Something's coming up with that. Like, that was my first thought, because I was like, it was
You did?
so... Yeah. Because I love clowns, so I noticed him right... Like, he was in the background of one scene, I was like, oh, clown. I got him. Right there.
I didn't know.
Nice.
I clocked him. I definitely noticed him.
Right.
But I was just like, oh, wow, cool. You know?
Yeah. It's great, though. It's, totally perfect. It was a good...
And then to have the turkey beheaded in the middle of this parade.
Yes.
Like, it's one thing in this fake trailer that we saw, but to actually have it happen in the context of this movie was amazing.
Yeah, dude.
And then we have an amazing kill. The float driver.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Doesn't have a name.
Yes.
But
yeah, what?
Well, I forget what it's called, the sprig or something, which is the front of a boat. So the float is the Mayflower, the ship. And he basically slams on his brakes. The pointy front end of the boat, like I said, I think it's called the sprig.
Yeah.
Just comes right through the back window of the truck and impales him through the head and out of his face.
Yeah, it's gnarly. It was a gnarly one.
It's gnarly, and his granddaughters are both in the truck with him. And it would be horrifying if it wasn't so hilarious that they're like, Grandpa, wake up. And then just blood's just like squirting on them.
Which, again, that's such an Eli Roth thing right there. It's perfect.
Very much.
It's so much his. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Do me a favor, buddy. Do me a favor. When at some point after this, go back to the movie on Apple and look at the extra features and the outtakes. Watch the outtakes.
Oh, no. Okay.
Because they just kept spraying those girls with blood. And during the outtakes, it shows a bunch of outtakes. Then it goes to that shot, and they're being sprayed with blood. And then it comes back, and it goes back to it, and they're soaked in blood. And it's just hilarious.
Amazing. I love it.
Okay. Kathleen.
Man. This one, like, even I watched it with Cindy, and Cindy was like, I'm going to look away. And I was like, I'll tell you when it's over.
Oh, my God.
This is rough. Yeah, so she's essentially pretending to be passed out because they've all been kidnapped now by the killer. Yeah. And he's basting her as you would a turkey. She kind of escapes, but he gets her and then puts her...
Wait, how does he get her? Do you remember how he gets her? Because that's the first
gruesome
part.
Oh, yeah. So it was good. So she escapes through this house that they're in. She opens the fridge, and that's where we see Amy, the cheerleader. Yes. She's still kind of alive in the refrigerator, which is rough. And blood starts coming out everywhere. And so, of course, Kathleen putting her feet on it and kind of, I don't know, guides the killer to her, sort of. She hits the killer with a glass bottle. Is that right?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about when she runs out the door. Like, how does the killer
stop
her?
Yeah, with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
he throws a pitchfork at her back. And then
like a javelin.
Yes. Forgot about that. Yeah. And then
the next thing,
he brings her down and puts her in a giant oven. And even right before he does it, too, he puts in that thing you put in a turkey that essentially will show you when the turkey's done. It pops out when you know that the turkey's finished cooking. So he stabs her with that and then cooks her. And of course,
turkey thermometer.
Yeah, and of course, after she's done cooking, we see that nice shot of the thermometer going bing and popping out.
Yeah, and that's even not the end of that, which we'll talk about in a second. But before we do, did you notice the brand of the oven, that huge oven? Did you notice what the brand of the oven was called?
Oh, no.
It was a Rendell oven. They named it after the writer.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like that.
But yeah, then, of course, they have this dinner scene where everybody is at the dinner table.
All tied up.
The killer has something covered, and he uncovers it, And instead of a turkey, it is a beheaded Kathleen. And she's cooked. And then he places her head next to her in, I don't know, like mashed potatoes or some fruit salad or something. Oh,
yeah,
God.
something like that.
And her head is cooked. And then I think it's when he uncovers her head, right? Is when her husband, the store owner, hang on. Right, Thomas Wright.
Mm-hmm.
When he throws up through his gag.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, oh, come on, man. Again, beautiful Eli Roth.
Yep, totally. Yep.
But then, he slices off a piece of her leg
Yeah.
in an attempt to feed it to her husband.
Yeah.
That was gnarly, dude.
That was
and
gross.
the meat of her leg where he cuts it off was so, like, the special effects were so well done.
Oh, yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect, but it was gross. It was so gross.
But the final death in this movie, also a gruesome one, is Evan, the football player. Do you remember how he died?
I'm totally drawing a blank. Help me out.
It's funny because I totally forgot about his death, too, after the first time I watched the movie until the movie got to it again. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because Evan is obviously at the table with the rest of them. And the killer asks everybody, what are they thankful for? And he goes to Evan first, and Evan can't answer. He's just too freaked out. And the killer sets up a phone and then...
Oh, and what does he hit him with? He starts bashing his head in.
A big meat tenderizer.
Yeah, and just like bashes his head in. There's nothing left when he's done with
it's
him.
just disgusting.
I totally forgot about that. Whoa. Gnarly.
And the only other possible death, but I didn't even write it down, was obviously Newland, who turns out to be the killer, and Jess fills up, or they fill up a stuffed a turkey float, with gas, and she blows it up with a blunderbuss, but they never find a body. So
Yep.
And that's all the kills, man.
So much fun, dude. That was fun.
I know. There's almost nothing left to talk about.
I know. I'm like, that was kind of the story.
But there is. I've got some behind the scenes stuff for you, pal.
Ooh, yay. You know, I love that.
Amanda Barker, who played Lizzie, she's an actual descendant of John Carver, the real John Carver.
No way. That's cool. That's pretty cool.
The town of Plymouth. What'd you think of the town? Like, just the setting and everything.
I thought... So here was my thought. And maybe you're not going with this, but here's my thought when I saw it. Was like, it reminded me a lot of... I grew up in a town of about 2,000 people. Very small. So whenever we saw kind of the outside minus the beginning, it reminded me of a small town. I've never been to Plymouth. I don't really know what it looks like. Or if they filmed there, I don't know. But it looks like a small town. That being said, the whole beginning with, all the people there, it just made me be like, I don't know, it almost like contradicted each other. Like, it's fine, and again, I don't care, but it just like almost, it's like, here's this tiny town with not that many people, but also here's this beginning with every person ever known to man here. So, I don't know, there's just a note for that. But I thought the town was cool. I thought it just, like I said, it just reminded me of a little town. It reminded me of where I grew up.
What was the last movie we did? Underwater. Never mind.
Oh.
Never mind. It has nothing to do with that. What was I thinking of? Oh, so, okay, funny enough, it's funny you mentioned that, because I'm going to go back 2 episodes to an episode you did not do with me, Pet Sematary 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, I mostly liked the town of Plymouth.
Okay.
I get what you're saying about all the people at the Right Mart, but I'm figuring that this Right Mart is bringing in people from... It's obviously bringing people in from the rival school.
That's true. You're right. Yep. That's right.
So
I forgot
it's
about
bringing in people from Plymouth and other towns.
Right. That makes sense.
I did like Plymouth, but it did seem... There's obvious budgetary reasons for this, but it seemed like there weren't as many people as would fill Plymouth. Like, for instance, it took me a couple of viewings before I noticed all the other football players.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's actually a full football team here? Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess there is. Yeah, so... But
True. All right.
What I was going to tell you is that this was shot, or the town of Plymouth was a place called Port Perry.
Oh,
which
okay.
I believe is in Canada. And Eli Roth shot some of Hemlock Grove there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I forgot
So
that he was part of Hemlock Grove. That's crazy.
Did you know that Patrick Dempsey is actually from Maine?
I did not.
So his accent was authentic. It's an accent that he used to have, but he got rid of when he started acting.
Oh, whoa. Wild. Okay.
Did you recognize the cat in Manny's apartment?
I didn't.
That cat is named Dewey. That cat was Church in the Pet Sematary remake.
Was it really?
And if you go back and watch that scene knowing that, you're like, holy shit, that is the cat.
That's awesome. I had no idea. That's wild. Wow,
And
that's cool.
Eli Roth called that cat, he said the cat was so good that he called that cat the Leonardo DiCaprio of cat actors.
I love Eli Roth.
This was very cool. Here you go.
Wait on me.
Because I was wondering if Patrick Dempsey was actually playing John Carver in all the John Carver killer scenes.
Yeah.
He had different actors playing John Carver just so that the audience was not sure.
Nice. Smart.
But it was Patrick Dempsey during the school scene where he's stalking Jess in the classroom.
Oh, really?
Which was a really cool scene, by the way.
That was a cool scene. Yep.
When she's hiding among the wigs.
Yep. The mannequin
Correct.
heads all sitting there.
Yeah.
That was good.
Clever.
Yep.
That was Patrick Dempsey. It was also Patrick Dempsey wanted to do the dinner scene.
Nice. Okay.
So that's really him.
Cool.
However, the clown was
yeah.
not Patrick Dempsey. That was Milo Mannheim, who played Ryan.
Really?
He wanted to be the clown.
That's awesome.
And it's really cool. You can tell if you know that and you watch that scene, you can kind of tell by the energy of the clown, like
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
dancing
totally.
around a little bit. You can tell that it's Ryan, that it's Milo.
That's awesome.
The person,
Mm-hmm.
this is another really cool tidbit. The person that is preparing Kathleen as a turkey to be baked,
Oh, yeah.
they actually hired a real sous chef to do that scene
Wow.
so that he would do it as if he was preparing a real meal, you know?
That's amazing. That's amazing. One thing I want to bring up too is Milo Mannheim. There's a Disney, this came out a few years ago, but it was a Disney Channel original movie called Zombies.
Yes.
And he's the main kid in it, and it's like a musical. It's cute. It's cute. And Kylie watched it when she was little, but I liked it. It's just a cute, charming little movie. But one thing I liked was that Milo is in some of the like Disney Channel original movies, sometimes, not always, but the note is to be over the top, be really big, be too, I don't know, just be a lot. And I felt like his performance wasn't. I felt like, he was over the top in the parts he needed to be, but he was a good actor. Like, watching him, I was like, I like this kid. Like, I hope he does stuff. So when I saw him in this, I was like, because Cindy and I watched it, Zombies, we were both like, oh, good for him. Like, that's exciting to see that he's doing more. And so I just wanted to sing his praise. I think he's a good actor, and I was happy to see that he's gotten some more stuff. So good for him.
Yeah. Eli Roth mentioned that in the commentary that he was in the Zombies movies, and I was like, wait, which Zombies movies? Was he in Dawn of the Dead? What?
No.
Nah, I looked it up. Now, do you think that note that Disney gives their performers, be over the top, does Nickelodeon give the same note to their performers?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Did you get that same note, Andrew?
Did. Yep. Yeah. Because I wanted to play it realistic, man. And they're like, no, we need a bigger. I was like, all right.
Buddy, this is so cool. I'm like looking at my notes for the rest things I haven't talked about, and just talking about the kills in this movie.
Yeah.
We ended up talking about almost every single note that I have.
That's awesome, dude. This is the movie to do that with. Like, that's perfect. Because this is the kills are beats of the story. So I love that. That's great.
I do have a few though.
Okay. Lay it on me.
Just these are little tidbits here.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I loved little Jacob. Not little Jacob, but Jacob, the nerd guy in school. He was
Yes,
Ryan's roommate. And Eli Roth and Jeff Rendell in the commentary, they mentioned something, and when I looked at him afterwards, I couldn't not see it. But they said he really does look like a little Steve Buscemi.
Oh my gosh.
And the next scene with Jacob in it, I was like, oh my God, he looks just like Steve Buscemi.
I need to watch that again. That's amazing.
I'll also say, you know, a movie like this doesn't always make me jump. But when there's the moment when Jess is in the school, which,
yes,
again, great scene. Great scene. But Evan and his girlfriend, what's her name? Damn it. Gabby.
Yo, okay, yeah.
Evan and Gabby are walking down the hallway.
Yes.
Evan and Gabby are walking down the hallway. The camera looks in front of them, and it's focusing on this a dumpster, like trash thing.
Yep.
And the killer suddenly comes around from out of the corner. I actually jumped.
Oh, we did too. Yep, that was a good jump. It was good.
And I got to say, that whole scene I really loved because I've been, and I'm sure you have too, I've been in a high school, off hours when there's hardly anybody there and it's empty. And it is a little bit, it's creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
It's really creepy.
I loved, so the cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I watched the movie, I didn't think much of it. But the second time I watched it, so the cinematographer is Milan Chadima.
Okay, yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He did Hostel 1 and 2, and he also shot the Thanksgiving fake trailer.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
So it was great that he came back and did this. It was shot beautifully.
Yeah.
The color correction, everything was just perfect.
I would agree with that, man. Absolutely.
The way everything looked. But funny enough, one shot really stood out to me, and it's so weird, the shots that can stick out.
Uh-huh.
You know the McCarty Party?
Yes.
Or in Boston, the McCarty Party.
McCarty Party. Pax Con Habadiad. Yeah.
The first shot of the house, there's like a wide shot of the house.
Yes.
And just the way that shot is composed, where it's like dark above and below the house, but then the lights on the house.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a beautiful shot of that house, man.
Yeah. Yep. Very good, man.
Yeah, I love that. And finally, the music. I got to talk about the music.
Yeah.
As always, because I was very surprised to learn who did this score. One episode ago, you and I talked about a movie called Underwater.
Right.
And we mentioned that Underwater was scored by Marco Beltrami.
Right.
And a guy named Brandon Roberts.
Right.
Who also helped Marco Beltrami with the Quiet Place movies.
Right. Yes.
And it turns out he's done other movies with Marco Beltrami. He scored by himself. Brandon Roberts scored this movie.
That's amazing. Gosh. You're right. Another coinkydink.
He also, this is not part of the coincidence, but he also scored Pet Cemetery Bloodlines last year.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And wow. I like his score. He's more orchestral, which I love.
Yep.
And he has some themes. I listened to this soundtrack. I'll be honest, dude. I'll be honest, buddy. I was playing a little board game by myself, a solo game, a card game. And I was listening to the soundtrack while I was playing. When the soundtrack ended, I put it on again. I listened to it again a second time. So
wow.
It's a good score, and it's got some really good themes. There's like some violins that come in, some really like jagged violins, whang, some twang. And then Jessica's theme is really beautiful.
Nice.
So I highly recommend just going to listen to at least Jessica's theme.
Okay.
And some other things. But Brandon Roberts, man.
That's awesome, dude. Good on him.
Going to keep my eyes on him.
Yeah, for sure. Excited to see what he does next.
Do you have any notes, or are you ready for 3 questions?
I'm ready, buddy. Let's do it.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
Question number 1, my friend. And we just went over all the kills.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what was the best kill or death in this movie? This is a tough one.
It is, because we went through them all. They're great kills. But I do love, and I think, honestly, it was you. You were the one that made me think of these things, I think, in our Pumpkinhead episode.
Oh.
I think, way back in the day. I think it's that one. Hopefully I'm right. Yeah, it was. Because there was like a 3-tier kill in that movie, and I was like, oh, it's so good. This one is, I now think of that when I see kills in movies. I'm like, but what's the full kill? It's not just the death. What's the full thing? So this one I got to go with Lizzie. because
Oh, yeah,
everything
yeah.
that happens, I'm just like, it's just, yeah, there's so much, but it's all horrifying and brilliant and
Yeah.
just bonkers. So I got to go with Lizzie.
That's funny because I had Lizzie written down as
Yeah?
my best kill the second time I was watching this movie, and I was
Uh-huh.
writing down the kills as they happened, but then it got to the float driver, and I was like, that is amazing. Lizzie is great because Lizzie caught me so off guard. You think the car is just gonna slam into her and the dumpster, but you don't expect the dumpster lid to come down and just slice her body in half. That was amazing. I gotta say that was fantastic.
It really was. Yeah. Yep.
But the shot of the sprig or whatever it's called, I'm always gonna say or whatever it's called after I
Yep.
say it.
That works.
Of that thing sticking out of that guy's head, first of all, was amazing practical makeup effects.
Right.
But then just the fact that his granddaughters were in the cab, that's the one that sealed it for me.
Right.
Because at first it's kind of sad because their grandfather just got like mutilated
Right. Totally.
by this thing. And it's like, oh my God. But the fact that Eli Roth was like, I'm going to put two little girls in this cab with this guy, and we're going to have a shot where blood is just like squirting off on them, which just cracked me up in a way. It's so bad to laugh at stuff like that, but it was so good.
No, it is. It's brilliant.
Question number 2. Did you think this movie was scary?
No. I jumped, like you said, at that one part. You know, there's definitely creepy parts, but I would say I feel like Eli Roth kind of does well at that, where you're not scared, you're just having fun, sort
True.
of, or like enjoying it. So I wasn't scared, and I think, yeah, that's it. What about you?
No, that's very true.
Mhm.
Yeah, same. That one part made me jump. But I don't think slashers scare me that much in the first place.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I watch a slasher to see how people are going to, like, the magic of the movie.
Right.
Like, what are they going to do to this character? And
Right.
how's the killer going to kill this person? And what are the makeup effects going to look like? Stuff like that, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Finally, question number 3. Did you have fun with horror, Andrew?
Nope. No, I did. I did. Of course I did. This was a lot of fun, man. Yeah. This was a fun one.
Nice
And you?
reference to our 2022 episode when we covered Nope, by the way. Thank you.
Plug.
Go back
I
and
also
listen to
referenced
that.
Pumpkinhead, so hey, man.
Go back and listen to that one, too.
Yep,
But
there we
only
go.
one of those episodes did I have COVID during. And we're not going to tell you which one. You got to go back and listen.
Oh my gosh. Brilliant.
Also, yes, I have fun with horror. too.
Good, yeah.
I love this movie. Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Sorry, Jessica! This year, there will be no leftovers!
You know what part of this episode it is? It's my favorite part. I'm so excited. I don't know what you're picking for our next movie, Scotty. I have ideas of what it could be, but I've thought that before, and then it's totally something way different than I thought. So I'm very excited to hear what you're picking, if I'm right or if I am completely wrong. So, buddy, do you know what you're picking for our next film?
I actually do know what I'm picking for our next movie.
You do?
Andrew, it's time. It's time for you to watch The Exorcist Believer.
Hey, all right. Nice. Yes. I'm excited.
This movie is streaming on Peacock.
Okay.
Yeah, for those who have not seen it, this is no secret to anybody that's talked to me. I liked this movie.
Right.
A lot of
right.
people hated this movie. In fact, so many people hated this movie that David Gordon Green has stepped down as director of the rest of the trilogy.
Really?
Blumhouse says they're searching for a director to complete the movies, and I hope it's still his vision. And I guess we can talk about that in our next episode.
Right. It's sad, but I'm excited for this. I've been wanting to see this for a while, so yay.
Yeah, and I've actually held off rewatching it because I was waiting till we did it.
Nice.
there was a couple movies that we didn't get to last year, and this is one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Ooh, thanks, buddy. I'm excited.
I am too. So there you go, everybody. The Exorcist Believer, episode number 114. Next episode.
There you go. Ooh, I'm excited. Well, that'll be, so I would say if anyone, whoever's listening to that episode, I'm assuming it would be in your best interest probably to listen to our Exorcist episode before listening to that new episode. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, yeah. That would probably be good. Yeah. Or at least watch
the
The
third
Exorcist.
episode today.
Plug it all, buddy. I like it when you plug things. Rusty trombone.
I knew that was...